Hi, Lisa and Dawn here again. Today we are talking about one of my most favorite topics, which is protect your peace like it's sacred. I'm not even going to say anymore, Dawn. What does that mean to you?
Protecting your peace?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I'm very good at it. I'm getting better at protecting my peace, but I think just making sure that you have space to continue your own personal growth, because we're solving problems left and right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are things coming at us constantly with family, with politics, with, with work, with everything. And it's one of those I don't know, moments that you have a second of clarity, a moment of clarity. And if you don't have that moment of clarity and peace, you really can't bring your best self to solve your problems. So I think peace for me is just taking a moment to reflect, to make sure that I'm on the right path, and just to make adjustments.
Right. And for me, it's very similar. Engaging in negativity, that is where I am out.
Yeah.
Like, I know in a lot of instances it's super difficult because, if you're in a work environment and your peers, your supervisors, your attorneys, whoever you're working with are in a negative mindset, I mean, it's not like you can just say, I'm out, man. But, you can limit that contact. Like, on an ongoing basis, if you're surrounding yourself in a scenario that is not feeding you in a positive manner, you owe it to yourself to step away.
Yeah, and I think, I cannot remember who I learned this from, but I think it was Sorry, actually. I talk about Sorry Delamont all the time. If something either gives you energy or it takes energy away. And so things that could be hard to Lisa might be easy for me, or something that might be hard for me might be easy for Lisa. So you need to try to lean into the things that give you energy and try to delegate the things that take away your energy. So I think protecting that energy, because you can feel it, even if you had like a super long day, if you're just going from one thing to another, at the end of the day, if you feel energized and alive and like you can keep on going, then you're on the right path. You need to focus more of your time into those type of events. So I think we can all do that. I don't know if everybody takes time to, how do I feel tonight? What did I work on? Did that distract from my energy or take away my energy, or do I feel revitalized? Like yesterday, I got to argue an appeal before the 5th Court of Appeals in Dallas, and I hadn't done an appeal in a long time. And preparing for it, it was hard. It was really hard. I was really nervous. It took me a lot of time. There's never enough time. I just feel like there's never enough time to get all of the things done that you want to get done, to be prepared to argue in front of 3 justices where you don't know what they're going to ask. So I think that going before that court and after all of the preparation and feeling so good when I walked out, I mean, that absolutely gave me so much energy. So being in court gives me so much energy. And I know that that's super draining for a lot of people, but I love it.
Yeah, once you walk through that door, all the preparedness that you've done served its purpose, and then the courtroom itself just energized you, right?
Absolutely.
All right, for those of you who end up in a scenario wherein you're thinking, what am I going to do? This is not something I'm comfortable with. There is actually something you can do related to your body, and I've said it before, it's a TED Talk. Amy Cuddy. It's really super simple. There's science behind it, and it is go into the bathroom, spend 2 minutes putting your hands on your hips, and just stand up. There's something about that strong pose, scientifically, biologically, what it does is it raises your serotonin and reduces your cortisol. So for me, when I end up in a really stressful scenario like that, that's what I do. I'll put my hands on my hips. I mean, they even say, like, runners who end a race, even if it's somebody who by sight can't see, they throw their arms up in the air. That whole motion, that biological motion for your body, puts you in a different place. And it's all about raising that serotonin and feeling good, right?
Yeah, I love that.
I do. I love that. It's an old TED Talk, Amy Cuddy. It's just one that I listen to periodically. She's got her own personal story there. And so it's really motivating from that standpoint of how you can physically make a difference to protect your peace.
Well, so physically, you can breathe too.
Right.
Breathing really helps. I think that we forget how much power we have in our breath. So one of the things that I've been telling my kids forever is that, when you're in a super stressful situation and you're worried that your voice is going to crack or you're going into something really important, there's this technique that I've used forever because I get nervous just like everybody. When I'm sitting in court and I can just feel those nerves and I start shaking. I physically start shaking. I don't know if everybody can see to where I'm shaking crazy, but I can feel myself shaking, my hands, everything. So I take a really deep breath, as deep as I can, and then another breath on top of it, just so that you're at your maximum. And then you let a little bit out and then you stop. And then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and you count down to 10 to let it out. And if you do that about 3 times, that calms all of your energy down, settles you in, and I can almost get through anything just with those breaths. So there's a lot of physical things that you can do to control those emotions.
And so thinking about your peace, are there any boundaries you set in the office or personally that you can think about, I'm just not going to do this anymore, or I'm going to do this different?
So I've taken a step back. I would say I'm more hands-on at the office now than I was for a period of time. I would say for about 2 years, I wasn't really doing any of the regular litigation tasks. And for probably about the last year, I've done a lot of litigation tasks. And I think I would have said, if you asked me last year, I would have had a boundary on some of those. But now I feel like I've gotten so much out of diving into the day-to-day to see what's working and what's not, so that I know what needs to be changed. So there's, working on the business versus working in the business. That is just, everybody talks about that. You're supposed to be working on your business if you're an entrepreneur and not in the business. But sometimes you really have to dig in and work in the business to see what is working and what's not, because they don't know. The people that are working with you don't necessarily know, or they don't have the experience. They haven't been there through those things to learn what's worked and what hasn't. So I would say before I would have put some hard stops on that stuff, but I'm much more open to doing whatever it takes to kind of move the ball forward. So I don't know if that's a great example.
Well, I think that really is a good example, just from the standpoint, working in the business, there's things that need to be done. And if you've drawn that boundary that you're not going to do it, it can end up feeling like a monkey on your back because it's not being fixed, right?
Exactly. So you don't have peace.
And so once you're in the heart of it and you're making it happen and you're seeing what's going on and the processes, there's really, really that deep dive is serving you even better, right? And you can step back at any point, because then at that point you really know what's going on in the heart of it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have more peace knowing what's happening on a daily basis. And I find things that I don't love. There are certain things that I find I'm like, gosh, I wish we would have done this different or better. But I see progress being made on a daily basis, and I feel like I've built such great bonds with my team at this point, because I am standing there right next to them. I'm not asking them to do anything that I haven't done or I'm not willing to do in that moment. So that's given me peace.
Well, and I think in turn that gives them some peace, knowing that you're right there with them as needed, because they recognize that there isn't anything that you won't do to help facilitate making something happen. Yeah. And I think that's truly the sign of a really good leader and a resilient leader, that you just continue to evaluate, and whatever it takes, you just make the adjustments. Yeah. So it's really interesting. How long have you been in it?
Started about this time last year.
And has it been super telling?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. There's a lot of things that I've learned over the last year that we've been able to, build on and improve. Lots of things that needed improvement, lots of things that needed my attention that I didn't really realize.
Right.
So it has given me a lot of peace working through that. And I'm so proud to work with the people that I work with.
Right.
I mean, they're amazing. They really are. I mean, they are willing to do whatever it takes to, just get the most out of these cases for our clients. And they care so much. That brings me a lot of peace,
Right.
So just surrounding yourself, I think, with people that care about the mission. I think choosing your circle, right? Choosing
for sure.
who you surround yourself with brings you peace or takes away your peace.
Right.
So what about that? How have you been able to surround yourself with people that bring you peace as opposed to take away your energy?
Honestly, it's just like you. Like, we just bonded almost immediately. And then the people that that you've introduced me to, the women that like-minded women find the other like-minded women. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of friends, and it was interesting because we just did a wedding shower for my son is getting married, and Megan is the bride. And when we left the shower the other day, this was actually a shower for the bulk of it was all my girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And I have quite a few. And when we left, Megan was so thankful, and she just said, I just wish I had that many bubbly friends. And, I did tell her, I said, I didn't get all these friends until, into my career at different stages. But it really hit, and it really resonated, because those women, and a lot of them didn't know each other, but everybody clicked. Mm-hmm. Everybody got along really well. And, it just... that gives me peace. That makes me happy. And it was just like, for instance, you could have joined and you would have liked everybody just as much. Yeah. That's like very, very important to me, my girlfriends and how they fill my cup.
Yeah. So what do you do if you feel like you're in a negative environment? Because I feel like negative kind of breeds more negativity. So if you're around people, or if you're in a group, what can you do to have peace, to create space for peace for yourself?
Well, generally, whatever they're saying, I'll spin it positively. Mm-hmm. It's just, there isn't any reason why we have to continue down that path. I mean, of course, you're going to have scenarios with your best girlfriends where you're having conversations that are just true. But if you are in where somebody is just complaining to be complaining, really, I'll just put some kind of spin on whatever it is that they say. I don't want to continue that conversation. I don't want to cut them off. I don't want to be rude like that. But I also just want to encourage positivity.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would do different, like looking back, or what would you tell somebody in their 20s when they're just starting their careers, or in their 30s just starting their careers, on how to build a life, build an environment that to where they'll have more peace?
Well, you have to do what you say you're going to do in whatever environment that is, with your girlfriends, whether you're meeting up with them, and with your coworkers. You're going to build those relationships there, and they're going to stand the test of time if you are true to your word and are just generally a nice, kind person. Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of times that's what it's all about, and showing up. And, just show up. If you say you're going to be there, be there. If you work in an office, you need to be there. Like, you just can't be calling in all the time. It's just show up. To me, it's so simple, and it just comes so naturally. And we are in a different day and time. I really feel for the young adults and teenagers in this day and age, because we didn't have all the technology. Like, we had to pick up an actual landline to make an arrangement and meet with somebody. And then when you went home, the day was done. There wasn't any additional communication or pictures or anything that was shared. So in that respect, I'm out of touch with the technology component to it today, but I don't think just doing what you say you're going to do, be there, show up, be supportive, help out when you can. When you're in an office, the whole, like, what makes me crazy when people are saying that is not my responsibility. Well, if you have the time and you can do it, just do it. I can't tell you how many times just getting it done and making it happen, even though it wasn't my responsibility, just paid off in the long run. So I think it's a long run type of game.
You become the go-to person.
Yes.
If you're the one that is willing to just do whatever it takes, just do whatever it takes to get that job done, then you become the go-to person.
Yes.
Curtis and I always talk about make yourself indispensable.
Right.
Right? Like if you are trying to advance yourself wherever you are, you need to make yourself indispensable. That means figuring out exactly why you're there and figuring out what the person making decisions, what they want, like what's important to them. I think
right. I'll cut you off and say,
yes.
It's not about you.
It's not about you.
It's not about you. It's about them.
Yes, exactly. And you got to figure that out.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people just kind of go through the process and just, they think they're doing the job, but you got to ask questions, did I do this the way you want? What is important about this what's the most important thing about this project to you? What does success look for this project to you? That way you're in their head, you know what they're looking for, and you can focus on that. I mean, that's how you move the ball forward.
Well, and clear communication is going to give you a sense of peace because you're going to know exactly where you stand.
Exactly.
Right? Exactly. As opposed to wondering. Right?
Yeah.
So it's super important. I think it's also going to give you clarity.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're serving your purpose in that moment. I just think a lot of, you were talking about distractions a moment ago. And I think a lot of times today, we're distracted by so many things that we can't be present in the moment.
Right.
When you're doing something, when you're in a conversation with somebody, be in a conversation with that person. You're there talking to that person. You don't need to be looking at your phone. You don't need to be looking at other people. Be focused in that moment. Get and give in that moment. I think that if you take the time to just really devote yourself to the person that you're interacting with in the moment, you get so much more out of it. Life is about connections. Life is about making, not necessarily even making friends, but making an impact on others. What have you done in that moment to make that person feel better, to make their day better? You can do that in the smallest ways, just by paying attention.
Right.
Just pick up your phone. Like I was driving today, and I was going by the bus stops, with the kids waiting, and all of them are just head down on the phone. Like, I don't know, like 10 of them standing there all around, not talking to each other at all, just head down on the phone. And I went by literally 3 bus stops. Nobody was talking.
The same.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's heartbreaking,
yes.
Isn't it? That they're not communicating.
Yes.
And I don't have the exact quote down, but it's like, Maya Angelou is like, don't care what you say, don't care what you do, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yes. I just got goosebumps when you said that.
Yeah, because it's so true.
Yeah.
It truly is. Like you think about the people in your life, and you probably don't think of a specific instance or a specific word. You just have the feeling associated with that person.
That's right.
And it's so important.
Yeah.
So you just keep in check how you make people feel.
It's not about you.
No, it's not. Get over it. Nobody cares that much about it. Just care about them. Don't care what you know. They only want to know you care.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I drive my kids crazy with my sayings, but it just, those things resonate with me, and I think it matters.
Yeah. So keeping your peace.
Yes.
Making sure you stay focused in the moment, trying to contribute as much as you can, making sure that you surround yourself with people that are like-minded,
right,
that are trying to accomplish the same things. All good ways to protect your peace.
Yeah. And actually talk to people.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Get off your phone. It's going to be okay. All right. Thank you so much. We are excited to have input, feedback. Please, if you want to email us at hello@ladiesinlaw.com. See you next time. Bye, everybody.